All right, Christina, we're going to take this right to our market panel. Jack House here today from Barron's, where he's senior editor, and also Scott Martin from Kingsview Asset Management. Scott's also a Fox contributor. And we'll do this in two parts, Scott. I want to get Boeing, not out of the way, but tackle that first, because that's really the reason, as Christina said, the Dow was down. The market overall looked pretty good today. But how concerned, in your view, should we be about Boeing's long-term prospects at this point?
Long term, I don't think it's too concerning. I mean, I think they're going to fix this problem as many air makers or airplane makers have done so in the past with other issues. Connell, the short term, though, is concerning. I mean, this is especially a stock, too, that had rebounded nicely from the lows in the 360s just in the last couple of weeks based on this fix that was supposedly coming that Christina's comment is not here yet. So to me, I still think there's an entry point in Boeing at some point here because we've seen issues like this create opportunities for investors. It's probably just not today or tomorrow, but maybe in a week or so.
Now, the broader market, Jack, right around those highs for the years we've been talking about as we go into the next earnings season. That's supposedly when we get the big test, right? The Journal wrote about this this morning. A number of companies come out with earnings, so we're going to test this rally. Will we pass?
We will pass. I'll tell you how it will all end. There is no earnings uncertainty. There is certainty that earnings will stink. Earnings, the last estimate is for the first quarter to decline 4% from a year ago. People aren't used to seeing earnings decline. Even with some upside surprises, which we usually get, we might be, let's say, negative 1%. However, the most powerful force in the financial universe is interest rates. There is better than even odds of a Fed cut before the end of the year, according to futures markets. There's still nothing better for your money than stocks. Right. So earnings stink, but stock prices move higher.
We passed the test. All right, Cheryl.
Staying with stocks here for a second, guys. Let's look at Apple right now. The stock closing above $200 a share. There had been doubts, Jack, about Apple, especially for the year, considering that we didn't have any big new news and that AirPower pad was maybe not going to be on the pipeline for the rest of the year. But now it looks like investors are getting back into Apple. What do you think?
There's plenty of room for this company to eke out some growth long term. It has this huge installed base, right? So its customers are going nowhere. Now, they might not have upgraded in droves to the last phone. Every phone they don't upgrade to is pent-up demand for the next one, and eventually you get more in services revenue from all these customers. There's a big report from Morgan Stanley today about Apple becoming a new healthcare player. Tons of money to be made there, so I'm not really worried about Apple long term.
You know, Scott, though, there are some that are worried about Apple because they're putting so much behind the services business. There is competition out there, whether it's from streaming television, whether it's from Samsung, et cetera. Even the wireless carriers are giving Apple a run for this money with other devices. What about the services business? Is that where you put your money?
Yeah, I mean, as far as Apple goes, for sure, Cheryl. I mean, I think Jack hit it. That's really the area that Apple's going to improve upon, and they are. I mean, gosh, you want to talk about services, guys? I mean, now, as just reported a few days ago, they've passed Spotify in paid subscribers now, which they were way behind a few weeks and months ago. So that's a big-time upset. I mean, the likes that we saw, say, last week in the NCAA tournament when Texas Tech beat Gonzaga. So I think Apple's got the right move here. And then they just had I got Texas Tech tonight, by the way. Apple's got the right move here, though, too, Cheryl. They have Apple TV Plus that they announced just a few days ago. That was very impressive. Apple credit cards, all these services that are coming out makes Apple not just a hardware company anymore.
The Baylor ladies won it yesterday. Now we're looking for Texas, guys.
All Texas, come on.
Jack and Scott, thank you very much.
If the game's half as good as the women's game, they'll be happy about it. It was a great game. And this may not live up to it tonight. We'll see. Anyway.